right, it's Thursday, and you're listening to that awesome music, and that must mean that Jim Beckett is somewhere in the studio, and if you're watching on camera, you know he's sitting right here. And we're going to talk golf. That's the name of the show. Let's talk golf, so let's not say any more, except for this, that Jim is the only instructor that Rob and I have ever had. Not that that's saying anything, because we really aren't that good, but we were better than we would have been had it not been for the lessons from Jim Beckett. The thing I like to brag about, and if you don't mind me name dropping a little bit, Jim, Jim is also John Travolta's golf instructor. There's a guy who doesn't have to settle for anybody. He can go anywhere in the world and pay anybody whatever they are asking, and they will teach him, I'm sure. But he went to Jim Beckett for his golf lessons, and Jim is also the founder of the Golf College and the host of this show. And today he has two guests. There you go. There's my whole intro. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, sir. I've got Mr. Frank Pleasure, PGA professional, with us.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning.
We
Good morning,
have
Frank.
Mr. Don Nix.
Yeah.
Don is going to become our Mr. Everything in our corporation, and we're now going to start moving forward because Frank and I are too lazy to do all that stuff. We found a guy who'll do it for us. So he's going to be an interesting, important cog in the steps we take forward, which I will tell you a little bit about today.
Oh, wow. Now, do you need to be a golf pro in order to really understand what those steps might mean?
No, you can't get a golf pro to do that. They're lazy. You got to get somebody else that's no.
Oh, no.
No, you always need, as you know, just like Robin, you need that support person that makes everything look great and makes the important people like you look great. And
Well, I have a lot of people helping me, but I don't think it helps.
it's an operation marketing. Look at here. My goodness, I've lost my words. Does the folks out there in Radio Land know what our view is here?
I think they know. Yeah, I've mentioned my distractions quite often.
Yeah, well,
it's good to know that I'm not alone, though.
We get distracted frequently, and that was a distraction.
That was a good
for
one.
sure.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Well, at any that's kind of what's going on.
I can hardly see with this monitor here.
We've had some meetings with Darren here recently, and it looks like things are ready to kick off full blast October 1.
And is this about the time the snowbirds start to make it more difficult to get a tee
Believe
time?
it or not, they do come as early as that. What's happened in the last few years is some of our visitors from up north come down a little early and then go back for the holidays with family and then come back.
That's me. I would do that.
In the past, most of them came down after the holidays, so it was a barrage about the second week of January through April. And so it's getting more spread out. More are staying longer. Seems like our season is going 2 to 3 weeks longer than it has in the past. So
Right.
I guess that's a sign of a positive thing that more is happening. So that's changed our operational targets a little bit as well. So
Yeah, this is kind of an aside question, but I'm wondering how many people come to play golf kind of as newcomers because their doctor recommended they walk more. Do you get a lot of that?
say that one more time.
Like if a doctor recommends to a patient, you need to walk more, and they're not really golfers, and they say, you know what, I'm never going to walk. I got to do something in addition to walking, and golf seems like a natural choice.
I'm not sure that
You
would
got a
happen.
note from you.
As much as it wouldn't have passed because of economics, almost everybody rides a cart. Many times,
Oh,
if you're,
so it
you're
doesn't
in
even
prime
apply.
tee time, you
Gotcha.
have to take the cart to
Okay.
keep the flow of traffic the same. We do see more and more walkers come when we're not as busy in the afternoons. So they're avoiding the traffic, and we do have people that do want to do that. So it's I'd say it's building, but it's not very high on the volume list yet.
Is that part of what makes a golf course attractive to golfers? Is the fact that you do have a system where the traffic will keep moving? You don't set it up so that people will be holding other people up.
Slow play is a constant thorn in your side, almost exactly like traffic on the road. If we got a lot of traffic and
I would
it's
imagine,
moving,
yeah,
we just pay attention so we don't have a fender bender. But if it starts bogging up, even if you're not in a hurry and you've got time, people just don't like to be delayed. We're in a
Right.
fast food society.
That's right.
Everything's now, and me, and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of the same way. The fast players who play too fast, and there are some of those, create more problem than the people playing slow.
They're the tailgaters.
Yes, sir.
To use your analogy.
Absolutely, and we have that at our course as well. They complain. So we regulate the traffic flow at about 2 hours per 9. So it's a 4-hour deal. If you're playing without that traffic, reasonably competent players are going to play 3 hours and a half, just because they're more efficient. They don't really play faster. They just don't dawdle around between shots as much. We go out on the golf course and we'll see people, they'll drive up to the tee is open. No one gets out of the cart. They're still chatting. Then finally somebody gets out of the cart,
that's not
and then
good.
they pull their club out, and they got a brand new head cover, so it's hard to get off. So that takes another
So how do you say
seconds.
something to them without taking them off?
We tell them that we have non-golfer days on a different day they're playing. This is a golfer day. No, yeah, it's a difficult.
They throw their hat
It's
down.
a difficult task.
Yeah.
It's very diplomatic to do and do it efficiently. Frank happens to be an expert at
Well,
it.
just to interject, Jim, we're going to plan at the links to the Get Golf Ready program.
And you're it.
Part of that Get Golf
Really?
Ready program is to get golfers involved or get new people involved. They don't even have to be golfers, but we tell them on how to be efficient, how to save time, where to stand, where not to stand.
There's
Gotta have
obviously
more fun.
there's etiquette involved, and
Sure.
it makes it better for everybody, right?
Correct. I don't think people do it intentionally as far as doing things incorrectly. They just don't know any better. So if they're taught,
Probably.
it expedites the whole learning curve. And again, talking about walking, this fall, I'm going to, if it's okay with Jim and Darren, try to institute a caddy program where we teach kids how to caddy. So if you want to walk as a player, you can get a caddy who can caddy for you. So everybody walks. Now, I know it won't be every day, all day.
Right.
There'll have to be specific times and days, but it's going to give kids a chance to learn how to caddy professionally, and it'll give walkers a chance to walk the golf course. So we're going to do that.
It'll get them involved in the game from all aspects. It's a shame that we've become strictly a golf cart society, but it's economics.
Yeah, it makes
But-
sense. Yeah, you have to pay the bills.
Once upon a time, when we first played golf, it was a nice outing away from the telephone and commerce. Well, now we got cell phones, so many courses will ask you to turn that thing off,
Right.
at least. But the caddy program was great for years and years because the person would learn, the individual would learn about golf, and they would become an expert before they actually participated. And then caddies in general for years only toted the bag. Nowadays, the caddy is the psychologist, the sports psychologist,
That's amazing.
the trainer, the coach. I mean, if those players on tour could play a tournament and get one practice round only and have no caddy that they knew personally and have no caddy that had any information, they just toted the bag, they would shoot significantly higher scores. Not that they're not great, but the caddy is an intricate part of their scoring.
You have a phone call, and
Great.
before we go to the call, let me just remind all listeners that everybody's invited to be on the show. It's simple as a phone call. The number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622 WOCA. If my computer is right, that caller just dropped off. Good morning, you're on the air. Okay, the caller just dropped off. If you would like to call, though, the number again, 622 WOCA. Got something to say about golf, whether it's a question or just want to say something.
One more thing, Larry, about walking and caddying. In Europe, and I've been to Ireland numerous times, they do now have a few carts, but the vast majority of the people walk
Really?
and have a caddy.
Oh, that's
Without question,
interesting.
95% of everybody walks and has a caddy. So they're very traditional with regards to golf and how it's played over there with a caddy.
So is a caddy trained? I mean, or is this something he or she learns?
Caddy will be smarter than any golfer
But how did they become so smart?
because they know their golf course.
Okay.
Experience.
It's golf course knowledge of the golf course you're playing, and it's experience. And they're a golf enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't call it carts over there either. They call them
They call them buggies.
buggies.
Oh. Wow.
And if you happen to pull a cart, that's called a
Trolley.
trolley.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
trolley.
You pull a cart.
Well, you
No,
have a
pull
pull
cart.
cart.
Yeah,
That
pull
was
cart.
real
Oh, I
popular
got
for a
you.
long time.
Yeah, yeah,
Instead of having
yeah.
to carry that bag on your shoulder.
Gotcha. Right.
You'd have pull carts. and they revolutionized golf.
Other than the terminology, is the game itself any different overseas?
Absolutely different. We play plastic golf over
Okay,
here.
two different answers
They
there.
play real golf.
Well,
It's a giant difference.
really? Really?
A giant difference. Over here, it's how fast can you play and how much can you
I
fudge.
see disagreement in Frank's face.
well, you still have to stick the tee in the ground and put the ball on the tee and advance it toward your target. He's being more philosophical, I think, than actually playing the game, which again is stick the tee in the ground, put the ball in the tee, and advance it toward your target. That's the same.
When I came to Florida a number of years ago, I came from a place where there was more golfers, traditional golfers, up in north. And I came down here and I found there were 5 types of people on the golf course. There were the course cloggers. They were the participants,
Right.
the bitchers and complainers, the alibiers, and mixed amongst all those 4 was a few golfers. And it was the only place I've ever lived where the golfers were a minority. There's an awful lot of people that participate in golf in Florida, and that's just fine. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's just a culture that I'd never known.
Is it kind of like going to the swimming pool and there's only a few professional swimmers and everybody else is just kind of paddling around?
Sort of. That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
And the reason I use it as an analogy because it's part of the sales package when real estate people sell land to people up north. They always say we got a swimming pool, a country club, and a golf course.
Right. We don't have many real golf courses in Florida. We have real estate.
I'm wondering if
real
maybe
estate
agrees in the room.
Real estate sales. Well, I mean, it's
But that's a
it's the
pretty-
nature of the business.
See, I don't know.
I don't know if that's wrong. It's just different.
By the way, I saw a video on Pebble Beach, and it was hole number 7. Are you guys familiar enough with this for me to ask this question? There's an angle to it or something. Mm-hmm. What does the ball roll into the water quite often on that hole?
It depends on what category you are. Participants go in the water a lot. Course cloggers.
And once it's in that water, it's gone. I mean, that's the ocean.
Yes, it is gone.
Yeah.
And you pull out another one. And
Okay.
the pro shop loves it. Now you got to buy some more golf balls.
Really? I thought you had a phone call. If you do want to call the show, the number is the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline, 622-WOCA. I was watching this piece on it's like a little travel channel thing on California, just flying over, and they were talking about Pebble Beach. And from the air, you couldn't really see the angle they were talking about, but it sounds like it slopes down.
It's a very unique golf
Have you
course
played
on a
it?
very unique piece of land. I've seen it. I have not
And
played it.
they said $500. You plan on spending $500 a player if you're going to do that golf course.
Oh, is it gone down?
maybe it's an old tape. Maybe
Used to be more.
maybe I'm watching something because it's something free I got off of Amazon. So if it's free, it must be old.
It's a very unique piece of land right off the bat.
Wow.
Very unique.
So what's the most you've ever paid to play?
I normally don't want to play a golf course where the fee is so high. I'm more concerned with the money than the ambience and the experience of playing. Frank and I are lucky in one aspect. For years we had something called professional courtesy. You might pay for a cart, but you didn't have to play. And the reason they did that is just that. It was a professional courtesy, but 9 times out of 10, you were paying players that
Right.
might not have come there. So
That's right.
it depends on the home pro and the corporation who owns it. We honor that at our golf course.
So when you say there's no real golf courses around here, does that include?
Well, when I say that, land is so expensive and commerce is so important nowadays.
Right.
To go out and get 150 acres and be able to do the things you need to do to build a golf course, which is extensive, it's just economically unsound to get recovery for investors. So it's almost inevitable you're going to have another reason to support that
So now
golf course.
Disney has a lot of land and a lot of money. Did they do their golf courses right? I mean, do you like theirs?
I'm going to defer to Frank because I'm pretty opinionated about that, and it's not very positive.
You don't like them?
And
Really?
well, I won't play them.
Because the sand traps look like Mickey Mouse?
No, you don't. There's very few golfers that play there, and that means the traffic flow is going to be slow. It's like traffic.
Well, it's
try to drive
tourist.
without being in traffic here. I'm a snob golfer. I want the experience to be the big thing. You know, and you experienced that at your tournament. It was a nice place to go. You got out on some nice manicured
It was fun. I just
nature.
had a good time.
You're right.
Yeah,
Your tournament, I still tell you, it was one of the best ones we've ever run, looking at it from every aspect.
I wish you would tell that guy on the veteran show. He keeps saying his is going to be way better than ours was.
His will be, if he does a fabulous job, his will be 10% of what yours was. I'm serious. You guys did the preliminary. It takes a lot of work before the first ball's hit. Then you're going to have enough people on hand to answer the questions and maneuver traffic and help it keep flowing, and we did.
It was wonderful.
It was one of the best tournaments I've ever been around.
The playing was wonderful. The restaurant afterwards was wonderful, and the little...
And you see, that's actually stimulated your interest a little bit. If you had 100 people there that had that experience, some of them are going to decide, hey, this is fun. I want to do it more often.
And you know what? More than the golf course itself, more than the fun, more than the restaurant and the award ceremony, you know what was the best part? The fact that there was no pressure.
No.
There was nobody saying you got to be good, because I know I'm not. I never did it before.
See, I hate that when they say that.
That was the best part of it for me. Is that it was enjoyable.
It's just like, did I go with? Were you with Joe?
Yeah.
And you remember I went 7 or 8 holes with you and helped you get along a little bit.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Well, but, I mean, now we had other people out doing that too.
Yeah, right.
And that's what Frank and I's job: promote golf, show people what it's all about. If they like it, wonderful. If they don't like it, that's okay too. But most people don't have a clue what it's really all about. They really don't.
Well, that would
know more than most people, and you've played once.
I'd bail out. If I had somebody yelling at me, hurry up, I'd say, well, I'm done. I'll just go home.
Yeah.
It's not that important to me.
Nope.
But I'd be disappointed, because I probably would. I'd be with somebody who wouldn't want me to do that. That's
See, we're
going
to do this again. We're going to run another tournament like that. Oh, no, we are. Frank and I'll put something together, and we'll work it through you guys, and we'll be looking for people like you. We don't need to help.
I'll be right here.
We don't need to help the avid golfer. We need to help the would-be golfer. They already know what they want to do.
Hence the Get Golf Ready, the PGA pushing now to get new people interested in the game. And that's what we'll do with the Get Golf Ready. Introduce them to the whole aspect. It's going to be a 5-session.
Oh, you can get a lot of people signing up for that.
It's going to be a 5-session program, no more than 6 students at a time, and we've got
plenty of help.
We've got the 20th hole there at the links, all to ourselves, so we'll be able to start from the tee, walk all the way down to the green, and stop anywhere and everywhere we want to stop on that hole to explain what they need to know.
So you know who you're talking to? You're talking to the guy like me who never lived here before, just moved down, got a beautiful golf course, and you see people and you say, one day I'd like to do it, but I'm a little bit worried about it. That's the guy, and there's probably thousands of guys and ladies like that.
There's the Get Golf Ready idea and why we're doing it. Introduce more people to the game correctly.
And are you marketing it only in the villages or South Marion?
Well, this is at the links.
Marketing it at our course.
It's your course, of course.
Now, Frank's going to tell you a little bit more. We're going to start a number of programs.
Okay.
Because there's a number of different categories of people that we know have an interest, but the entry-level door is so difficult to find. And we've always talked about that from day one, he and I. You go to a golf course, they know where to park, you don't. They know where to take their bag, you don't.
That's true.
They know how to check in, where to get a beer, where to get a hot dog, and how to get to the first tee, you don't.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Well, there's no host or hostess, so quite frankly, the
That's a
PGA
really
Pro
good
is
point.
supposed to be the host.
That's
What we're going to do. We're going to have some events where if you're a would-be golfer, you can't join. It's going to be just for those people. So he's got a number of clinics he's put together. The absolute beginner, women only, juniors only, family, and all at different entry levels so that they don't have to make a giant commitment, and they can come and find out what it's all about and have someone there that can walk them through that and get them comfortable. If you do that for a number of folks, it's self-promoting ourselves, you're going to get some people, hey, I kind of like this.
Why don't the other golf courses do this? This sounds like a wonderful idea.
We have a 30-minute window here. I can't tell you.
We don't have enough time.
But Darren must be. Darren is the director of operations, right? So so this sounds like
Darren's the owner now.
Oh, okay,
He's the leasee owner.
So this makes all the more sense in the world to him.
We've had this package planned for 7 years,
and nobody's ever done it before.
If they have, we're unaware of it. I'm sure it's being done, but it's been done in their little local.
See, what you said is exactly right. I can relate to that. I went to a ski lodge up in North Carolina. When I don't ski either. Okay, you keep in mind, you're looking at a guy that doesn't do a whole lot. I play music. So when I went with my son to the ski lodge, had no clue what to do. It looked like everybody else knew where to go, where to get the food, where the lockers were, everything.
Yep. And you didn't. You were kind of in the way, in a way.
That's what it felt like.
It's a major flaw.
You're very smart to realize that, because you're there all the time. It might not have been so visible to you.
Yep. I did the same thing in skiing. And when I skied down the beginner trail, which I thought was a cliff, I learned real quick, because I didn't want to hurt myself, that if you turned those skis sideways real quick, you could keep the speed from getting too high. And this guy saw me. When I got to the bottom of the hill, he's running and screaming at me, "Why are you on the beginner hill? You get your butt over there. This is for beginners only." I said, "I've never had a ski on until an hour ago."
Oh, man.
But because I got down the hill without falling, he assumed.
Oh, wow.
So that made a real impression upon me, a real positive impression.
You're the best thing for me that ever happened with golf. You're my connection with golf. So.
Well, we want to do that for more people. It has many aspects that you can take advantage of. And the one that's last is how low you shoot. That's what players do to play for a living. Of course we want to play good, but we don't want to make that be the obsession.
Can I squeeze in an unrelated question to any of this?
Of course.
When you look at a golf magazine, I often wonder, is there really enough? Is it hard to put together a monthly magazine with news, or is that much news in the golf world?
I honestly don't know. I would assume there is, because there's so many viewpoints and so many different points of interest. Of course, any magazine, if they're not promoting commercialism, they're going to go broke.
Yeah.
So you squeeze in as much content as you can, obviously, for any subject that you have in the book, I would think.
Don hasn't said much.
Don is new with us, and Don is going to be a godsend. He's a person that has the lights on. He's intelligent. He's good looking. Got a good personality, and he's going to fit the mode. He is who we're after. Only he's a few steps ahead of him. So he's going to be a perfect ambassador to be our assistant to promote this same concept, and he is one of them. So he's going to be a perfect person to relate to the people in it.
So do you feel like a fish out of water?
It's been an education working with the pro. There's no doubt about it. He's very enthusiastic.
So how did this happen? How did you guys get together?
I started taking lessons from pros.
He's a student.
I'm
a student.
Oh, wow.
And I've been a student of golf all my life, though. That's one thing. Regardless of your ability to play, you're always trying to get better.
And can I take a guess at your background? Is it public relations of some sort?
I was a salesman.
So, okay, well, that's public relations.
Tell him what else. He's a Marine.
Okay, all right.
I love that.
There you go.
Former Marine, turned salesman. And
he's an expert in another field also. Tell him your expertise.
Well, I did a lot of work in the firearm business.
Oh, wow.
Especially with gun stocks, finer gun stocks on target shotguns. Was my expertise, and
oh, wow.
I was involved in stock making as an adjunct to pay for my own shooting. We're always looking for ways to fund our hobbies,
exactly.
And that's the way it started. Except it turned into a business for me.
Oh.
And then I've retired. I've recently moved down here, and I found the pro, and that's when I started taking lessons. And one thing leads to another. There's something about golf that the better you play, the more you want to get better. So it's an ongoing spiral, if you will.
Yeah, right. Where'd you move from?
Northern Illinois, although the accent is a misplaced Texan.
Okay, and I thought it was a Southern accent. Yeah, so
No,
Illinois
we're
threw me a little
I'm
bit.
not Southern. I'm Texas. There's a difference. there's a little story. You know, if you think someone's from Texas, you don't have to ask him. Soon enough, he'll tell you. If he isn't from Texas, you don't want to embarrass him. So.
Okay.
Darn quickly, you're an official as well.
Oh, well, I was involved in skeet shooting, and I was a master referee. And in fact, the World Skeet Shoot is coming up, which I attended for a number
wow.
of years, both as a participant and as a referee. So I've been around the shooting sports and golf most of my life.
Well, nice to meet you, Don Nix, right?
Nix.
Nix, okay.
Also, right quick, Larry, when he came to ask me about lessons, I said the same thing I say to everybody. I said, you want to take lessons, you want to learn golf?
There you go.
So you're
And he got me on that, that's for sure.
Don, thank you for coming in today. Nice to meet you. Got a great smile, by the way. And I'm straight, just so you know. And Frank, pleasure. Nice to meet you. Again, see you again. I've met you before. Thank you for coming.
Fun to be here. I enjoyed it. I really do.
Well, good. You guys come in. It'd be a great show, I think. Just keep coming in like this.
Sure.
And Jim, of course, thank you for what you do for all of us.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Don't leave without giving your phone number, though. What's your phone number?
Area code 352-470-3876. And on the next show, we have a lot more information for you.
Okay. You had a lot today.
Oh, that day was just a drop in the bucket.
Okay. All right. We will take a little break. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll take a little break and be right back.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. Two popular family cars may be putting you on the road to trouble. Honda is recalling more than